Hey everyone, welcome to the video. My name is John Gosman and I'm here to change your mind and transform your body. I'm an online coach and I help people from mindset, training and nutrition. This is my most recent work and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. This is a combination of stuff that I've learned from the likes of Neuro Knowledge, Joe Dispenza, etc. on how your reality has come about. I'm personally somebody that struggles a lot with my thoughts and my emotions, but I have seen how my thoughts and my emotions create my reality, the synchronicities, the manifestations, and the fact that I was manifesting the life that I didn't want for my whole 20s until I started digging into this and I started to find out that life is a game. And I want to introduce you to this framework. I'm going to use this board over multiple videos. This is just an introduction into, these concepts. So this video, I just want to introduce you to the three different planes of existence that we exist on as human beings. We live on a spiritual plane, a mental plane, and a physical plane. Spiritual plane is your spirit, your soul. I think most of us will agree that we are souls, we are spirits inhabiting this physical body for a journey on earth. Certainly if you're watching this video, you'll probably believe something along those lines. And although I can't prove it to you, I'm going to try my best. So the spiritual plane is effectively consciousness. Take away your name, take away your history, take away your experiences, take away your location. You can do this by practicing meditation, lay down, relax, and try and forget about who you are, forget about all your problems, forget about your identity, and just be. And as I have ADHD, when I started my journey in meditation, I was one of these people that said that I cannot meditate. And if there is anybody in the world that cannot meditate, it's me, because my mind does not stop. But I can do it. It just took some practice. And I have reached this a few times and it's quite profound. The reason that I am teaching this, the reason I'm helping you guys with this is because once you understand this, you will start to be able to take control of your reality and create the life that you want and to change your mind and transform your body. That your spiritual plane is your consciousness and I am. You are, I am. Before you add anything onto that, that is all there is. When you start saying, I am John, I am a dad, I am male, I am this, I am that, you are then going on to the mental plane, which is your self-concept. Who do you believe yourself to be? So you can take away your identity. You can take away your name, your location, your history, your trauma, your experiences, your education. You can take all that away. And in that nothingness, you still are. And the only way that you can describe that is with the words I am. And you'll see I am in the Bible, throughout the Bible. And I won't get into that, certainly not in this video. But as soon as you start to put any labels, any memories or any thoughts, feelings or beliefs after I am, you are then going from the spiritual plane into the mental plane. And 99% of people probably never visit the spiritual plane. Although, like I say, most of us probably believe that we are spirit. They don't actually go there. They get caught up in all of this shit. But your self-concept is made up of who you believe yourself to be. So your beliefs create your self-concept. And your beliefs are created through your experience, the thoughts that you have and the feelings that you have. Not all thoughts, but emotionally charged thoughts. Okay, so when you think something that produces a feeling, highs and lows, they are almost saved and create self-limiting beliefs or empowering beliefs. Most of our beliefs are self-limiting, unfortunately. Tends to be the way that it goes. And like I say, those self-limiting beliefs produce your self-concept. Let's just make up an example. You're 6 years old, and your mum and dad split up, and your mum sits you down and says, you know, oh, it's just the way that it is, marriages don't work, people fight, blah, 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 blah. 30 years down the line, you're 36 years old, and you still believe that marriage is a load of nonsense. And you can't even remember where that's come from. But you had been given a thought from somebody else, which produced a feeling, which produced a belief system in your world. And that's created your self-concept. And who you are, who you believe yourself to be now, is only a combination of everything that you've ever experienced and everything you've ever learned through your education, through your peers, through your family, through your relationships, through your experience in life. Your experience in life has created your self-concept through this network of things. It starts with thoughts. Your thoughts produce feelings, and those feelings produce beliefs. Your beliefs produce your self-concept. So this is, follow the little green line here. And here's the thing. The physical plane is down here. And when we want to change our lives, whether it's our physical body or our finances or our relationships or anything that we want to change, because remember, we've developed this self-concept of ourselves that isn't even ours. We've been given our self-concept for our experience in life. And you could say, well, it's my life, therefore they're my experiences, therefore my self-concept is my own. No. All of, you're not here alone. It's all through life, your circumstances. And like I say, I remember things from when I was a kid that my teacher said to me, that I remember things that I've been through. And when you start to become aware of your thoughts and you start to identify where these thoughts have come from, how the feelings were produced, how the feelings are still produced from those thoughts that are produced from those belief systems and that self-concept, you start to realize that it's all false, none of it's real, none of it's true, and none of these thoughts are even your own. Your thoughts aren't even your own. And you spend your life worrying about what other people think about you, when your thoughts aren't even your own. And that just goes to show how much of a waste of time it is worrying about what other people think about you. And start thinking about what you think about yourself. Think about what you think about yourself. Think about that. Who's thinking about the thinking? Anyway, so most of us live down here. We take actions, we get results, which produce our reality. We don't like our reality, so we try and change the actions. And we get results, which produces our reality, which we don't like. So we change our actions, which produces results, which creates our reality. This is where most people live, in the physical plane of existence. This is why the hustle and grind culture doesn't work. This is why I've spent the last 5 years of my life burnt out, tired, stressed, and overwhelmed. Because when I decided to change my life, I thought about, what businesses can I start? How can I escape from the matrix? How can I escape this system? Fucking paying tax and all this, stuff. I'm a happy taxpayer. I'm not a happy taxpayer. Because it's all bollocks. It's all made up. But anyway, I was taking action, getting results, which was producing reality. But here's the thing. Every time I produce results that were beyond my current self-concept, I would give them all back. And I've gone round and round in circles, gaining clients, losing clients, gaining clients, losing clients, making money, losing money, making money, losing money. I spent 18 months studying crypto, and I mean 8 hours a day, obsessive, ADHD, very obsessive. I'm very, very good with maths, and there was nobody in the world that researched it as much as me. And guess what? Every time I made money, I gave it all back. I couldn't get ahead because my self-concept was somebody who doesn't have money, who struggles with money, who struggles to pay the bills. Even though I've never missed a bill in my life, I have this negative self-concept of myself that money is hard to make. It's easy come and it's easy go. This is stuff that I've been working on my own personal development journey. And I'm talking about this to give you examples, and hopefully you can be like, yeah, I see what he's saying here, because I'm trying to make this as easy and as fundamental as possible for you guys to understand. But this is very deep shit. But once you suss this, and I'm going to make more videos on this, and you're going to understand it if you follow me, and this is going to change your life. So spiritual plane, mental plane, physical plane. Most people live here. I lived here for most of my life, and I'm trying to escape. I'm very much here now, and sometimes I visit here. But I am working, I'm doing the inner work. I'm working on my thoughts. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm trying to figure out where these thoughts have come from. Why am I feeling these certain things? What are these feelings? Where are they coming from? What self-limiting beliefs or what belief systems do I have about my life and about the world that are creating these thoughts and these feelings? I can change those belief systems to create a new self-concept and go from the new self-concept to take actions, results, and create a better reality for myself, rather than being stuck down here, going round and round in circles. So, you join the gym every January, you lose some weight and you put it all back on again. You joined Slimming World 7 times, you've joined Weight Watchers 5 times, you've tried the Atkins diet, you've tried the keto diet, you've tried this diet, you've tried that diet, it doesn't work, and it doesn't work because you're focusing on the actions. You're getting results sometimes, but you're giving them all back again because your self-concept is fucked. You need to start here. Start by becoming aware of your thoughts. And a lot of people dodge this because it can be painful. You may end up revisiting things that you don't want to revisit. You may drag memories up from the past that you don't want to remember. But if you ever want to change your life, you've got to do it. There are some people that teach starting here with your beliefs. David Bayer, I've recently read his book, A Changed Mind. Very, very good book. He starts with beliefs. That's his model. He starts with a self-limiting belief. When you say, I can't do that, you simply flip it on its head, say, I can do that, and start to believe that you can do that. And through life's reticular activating system, you will start to prove it to yourself that you can. And you will start to remember situations in your life that you have, which will bolster this new belief system. There are some people that say your thoughts create your reality. I say that, I have said that. It's not entirely accurate, but it's generic enough to help people understand, at least to escape the physical plane, to go to the mental plane. Because if I say to you, your thoughts create your reality, you might think, well, that's quite important. I better start becoming aware of my thoughts. And that is ultimately step one, but it's not true. Your thoughts don't create your reality. Your belief systems and your self-concept create your reality. There are other people that skip all of this work and go straight to self-concept. And they say that you just need to decide to be the person that you want to be. And I've tried this a couple of times, and once or twice, it's actually worked. But it's very, very difficult to stay there because your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs will try and drag you back down a peg. So you can try and start with self-concept by visualizing it and imagining the life that you want, the person that you want to be, the body that you want to have, the relationships you want to have, the money you want to have, the income you want to have. Visualize it, imagine it, feel it as a practice. Then just start acting like that person. So you go straight from self-concept to actions. And it can be effective. But it's, the further up this that you try and start, the harder it gets. I recommend starting with your thoughts. Your thoughts will produce feelings. When you feel a feeling, you then need to discover where that's coming from. Because if I'm thinking that, if I'm thinking something that feels uncomfortable, that is from a belief system that I have that I need to diffuse or change. And once I've done that, it will rewrite my self-concept. So it goes like this. You can, like I say, you can skip this bit and start with beliefs, or you can start with self-concept. But either way, if you want to change your life, if you want to transform your body, if you want to finally stop struggling, stop going around in circles and free yourself from these chains that you're trying to escape by focusing here on the actions, you need to stop and you need to visit the mental plane, which means going within and actually thinking about what you're doing. Because we go through our life on autopilot. We go through life just living by habits. We don't really think. I'm sure you've heard it said that we only use 10% of our brains. I heard that as a kid, and I thought that meant that, you know, there's just like this little 10% area of my brain that I can use, but then the rest of it's just asleep. But it's not actually the truth. The truth is we get to choose which 10% of the brain we use. And obviously that's just an arbitrary figure. But the 10% of the world that we experience is simply the reticular activating system and what we are seeing through the lens of our self-concept. So for somebody that believes that they are poor, that they are fat, that they are ugly, that life is shit, that life is hard, that they're never going to make any money, feel sorry for themselves, they hate the world, they hate life, their reticular activating system is going to produce the circumstances and events that are going to continue to reproduce those exact beliefs. Because the universe wants you to have everything that you want, and you get what you focus on. So if you are focused on all the negative shit, you will continue to produce a negative life. If you want to change that and you want to have a more positive life, you need to start thinking and feeling and believing positive things and creating a positive self-concept. Then you will start to see the world through a fresh reticular activating system, and you will start to see beauty and love and peace and joy and abundance and money and happiness everywhere. Then you'll start to believe that life is good, that life is joyous, that you're happy, and you'll start to create a new self-concept, and that is all you're going to see from then on. And sure, bad stuff happens to good people and good things happen to bad people. That's for another video. But hopefully it's almost like a lesson in psychology. And the imposter syndrome, to be honest with you, is wild with this stuff, because like I say, I do struggle, and I'm happy to admit that I struggle. This is an ongoing thing for me. And while I have the knowledge and the experience, I'm not perfect. And I have daily practices in place most of the time to try and better myself, to create a better self-concept so I can produce better actions, better results, and improve my reality. You know, watches, cars, houses, all of that 3D physical reality stuff, none of it means anything. You say, people say that when they get rich, it doesn't make them any happier. I've gone from basically being homeless to now having everything that I ever dreamed of back then, and I don't feel any different to how I felt then, really. I'm still just humble, still John. I should have a higher self-concept. Everybody always says I'm very harsh on myself, that I don't give myself enough credit, and I put too much pressure on myself, and I beat myself up. I think it's just because I'm such a critical thinker and I'm an overthinker. I'm highly aware, and again, that's something that I'm working on. So like I say, I do get a bit of imposter syndrome, but while I do have my struggles, I know what I'm fucking talking about. And yeah, I think I'm going to call this the loop. And again, like I say, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I've been piecing something together, which will probably be like next year before it comes to fruition, because there's a lot of work that needs to go into it. But at the moment, it's called the loop, because it's kind of like a loop, We'll get to that in another video, because that's quite deep spiritual shit, and that's not for everyone. But this, this is for everyone. If you ever want to change your life, you've got to stop focusing on the actions, stop fucking dieting, Stop asking me all the time what exercises should I be doing and how much cardio should I be doing, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need to start seeing the world differently. You need to start seeing yourself differently and working on the mental plane. Probably during this journey, you'll discover this, because that's what happened to me. You know, I was a bodybuilder. I had the physique of a Greek god, to be honest with you. If I can, I'll stick a picture in. Muscular, shredded, hard body that most men would dream of, whether they'd like to admit it or not. That most women would like to have on their arm, whether they'd like to admit it or not. And I wasn't happy. Wasn't happy at all. And I was like, hang on a minute. Why am I not happy? Why do I feel like this? So I started looking into that. And it started with one book. I've now got, there's about 100 books over there that I've read. And that's the tip of the iceberg compared to the thousands of hours of podcasts and YouTube videos that I've listened to get to where I am now with this kind of knowledge. And, you know, during this process, I have experienced a lot, including what I certainly consider a spiritual awakening. That doesn't mean that I'm wearing tie-dye pants and dye my hair blue and I'm not a vegan. I think people that are try and paint this picture of being a spiritual person by changing the way that they look to represent somebody who understands spirituality is somebody that's still very much too focused on their ego. But again, that's for another video. Yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. Do you need a conclusion? Spiritual plane, mental plane, physical plane. Your physical plane is your actions. Your actions are producing results which are creating your reality which you don't like. So you're going to the actions which are producing results which are creating your reality which you don't like, and you're going round and round in circles year after year, decade after decade, and you're still not living the life and you still don't have the body that you want. The first step, in my opinion, the first step is to become aware of your thoughts. Start thinking about what you're thinking about and go from there, up the chain. Then one day you'll be able to say, I am fit, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am loved, I am confident, and all of the things that you want to be. But until you can get up there, you need to climb the ladder. Wow. I wish videos always went this smoothly. I think it's divine inspiration today. I tried recording a video like this yesterday, and after about an hour, I nearly lost my shit. And then I had to meditate and calm myself down. Someone's at the door, so I'm off. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. See you in the next video.